milestone on YouTube. So if you enjoy me on YouTube, be intentional. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if there are people in your life that need to subscribe, subscribe. Why? Because we are freaking the algorithm. We are being intentional. YouTube is not where I live. It's not my home. This is my home. Nubia is my home. But we have to be here, there, and everywhere. And we have to be here, there, and everywhere with intention. We have to be very intentional. I want to hit this milestone before the end of the year. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. And it is Karen Hunter Show. Those of you who are new to the show, you want to know more about the show, KarenHunterShow.com. We made it easy. KarenHunterShow.com and Karen Hunter Show on YouTube. Subscribe. Okay, today is Black Friday. And let me welcome my partner in power, the man of the hour, not Roderick Morrow. He'll be in later. He is the man. It was 3 years ago. I'll never forget. We had just started kind of dancing a little bit. I told him I didn't want to be in the T-shirt business. I want to be in the intentionally, putting goodness into the world business. I want us to wear our intention. I want clothes that actually make a statement, but also that people can feel good about in them. I want to have materials that make people feel good about their bodies, but also messages that will make the world sit up and go, what is happening? And he delivered. The very first drop we did was Octavia Butler.
Yes.
It was beautiful. And then Black Friday, he said, why don't we do some black on black? And I was like, what? What does that even mean, black on black? So I'm actually wearing the very first. It's a global majority. You can barely see because it's black on black. And it's the same color, but it's so dope. And this is one of those different kinds of washes. So it looks gray, but it's vintage. And that mineral wash. Thank you. Let me welcome. He has been on Larry's show a lot, talking about business and helping people kind of set their businesses up to win, which I absolutely love those sessions. He's here today to talk about our black on black drop because we are very consistent in what we do here on the Karen Hunter Show and Urban View. Let me welcome the founder of DigiDrop, Rick Martin. Hello to you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you. You know, it's funny. We go back to our beginnings until we are today, and what really attracted myself and the team was your vision of wearable art and the messaging. And I thought that was something really intriguing because you're such a deep, provocative thinker. And the challenge is, how do we take this idea that's provocative and beautiful and emotionally challenging and make it something that's wearable? And 3 years later, here we are.
Yes. I'm excited.
Better than ever.
Can I say this? Again, I'm very clear that nobody is genius unto themselves, right? So I was a 20-something-year-old reporter at the New York Daily News, and I would drive to Brooklyn to this little tiny block, this little tiny store called 40 Acres and a Mule. And at the time, I was there for 1 year. I know what I was making, but I didn't have enough to buy what I really wanted because he had those bomber jackets, and I'm talking about Spike Lee.
Yep.
Spike Lee had those bomber jackets, and they were like $350. I was like, I cannot afford that. But I got one of those little baseball jerseys. I paid $95. I will never forget it because Spike Lee had a vision of putting 40 Acres and a Mule and really telling our history in a very subtle way through clothes. And I said, if I'm ever going to be in that space, that's what I want to do. So when we first started the Global Majority, before I met you, the Global Majority, theglobalmajority.com, when I first met you, I was doing something called legacy shirts.
Yep.
And in my mind, it wasn't just about honoring people who had done things because we, but it was also kind of hidden figures. So I had Bessie Coleman, Ida B. Wells, who sits over my shoulder, who wasn't a household name, probably still isn't, but should be. And I wanted to immortalize people. Shout out to Eartha Kitt Shapiro. She gave us a picture of her mom, and we were able to be in partnership with her. And then when I came with you, it was Octavia Butler, Marcus Garvey, who we used the shirts as a way to raise money and awareness for his plight. And that actually happened. Before Biden left office, his name was cleared. He was exonerated. And I love that. And Fannie Lou Hamer, I play her clip every single show. Your freedom is shackled and chained to mine. I said, that needs to be on the shirt. That needs to be on a poster. We need to know who these people are. So I said to you, Rick, 2026, I want to come back with some legacy beyond, from the original. And I said, Harriet Tubman. And then I was like, let's also put somebody people may not know. I'm sitting in class with Carr. Some of you are part of the SiriusXM and YouTube family because of Dr. Gray Carr. Every Saturday, we're coming up on 300 Saturdays in a row
Ah,
next week,
huge.
which I'm like 300 unbroken Saturdays in a row. But he mentioned Paul Jennings a few Saturdays ago. Yeah, no, it is, and I'm
Yes.
struggling with how to commemorate that moment because at the same time, it's just what we do. So we're gonna be here at 301, 302, like it's, we may pause and say
It's still a
something.
huge accomplishment. It's a huge accomplishment. It is.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
he mentioned Paul Jennings, and just and it sent me down a rabbit hole, and I was like, how come I don't know this? I find myself doing this every Saturday though. How come I never heard of this? How come I didn't know this man? So I said, okay, we're going to put Paul Jennings. We're going to come back with Harriet Tubman. She was my very first person that I immortalized. And it was so powerful, that image of her, which I made sure, because there's several images of her. But I remember I was sitting in a Black Panther. We did a town hall at SiriusXM with the entire cast of Black Panther, including Chadwick Boseman. Everybody was there, right? And Denai Guerrero, who some of us know from Walking Dead, Dora Milaje, I wore the Harriet Tubman shirt to that town hall, and she said, I want that shirt. And at the time, I had only printed like 250, and we had sold them out, and I didn't have one for her. It was like I didn't expect her to say, I want that shirt. But I remember like that was powerful for her, playing that role and then wanting that Harriet Tubman shirt. I was like, we got to come back with Harriet Tubman. And then I was like, I've been saying this on the airways for people who are melanemic, people who are recovering from this made up construct that has us in a stranglehold right now as a nation and has us so divided. I'm like, in a world full of Trumps, be a John Brown.
Mm,
In a world full of horrible people,
mm.
you could be a John Brown. There are options. You don't have to align yourself with, terrorists and domestic terrorists and human trafficking folk, and people who stole labor and people's bodies and raped and stuff. You don't have to. You can align yourself with John Brown. You can, in a world full of horrible people, be a John Brown. So we are honoring with this drop, Black on Black Friday, Black Friday, John Brown, Harriet Tubman, and Paul Jennings, with quotes from them and statements from them, and I am so
Also,
proud.
but also, since we're all proud and we really wanted to make this something that was special, not just for Karen, but for everybody, a lot of these images are from the 18th century. So, we had to go back. We took on the challenge to basically re-engineer new art that you may have seen an old image or old things. We actually reimagined it, re-engineered it, and produced something now that's basically now original pieces. We really wanted to focus on the detail and the character, the emotion in the eyes, the wrinkles, where you can see the pain, you can see the struggle. We took a lot of time to really bring that to life. And with your direction, Karen, I think we really nailed it. And I'm proud.
Yeah.
This is one of the collections that we're really extremely proud of. To be able to produce something that hasn't been done, to re-engineer something, to bring it back to life, and to basically, give the audience some new food of thought. Like we talked about the John Brown. Like I
You
didn't
didn't
know,
even know. You didn't even know. You
and I didn't
you
even know
went
he
to
was white.
Berkeley.
Yeah, I didn't
You
have
didn't
no.
you didn't know John Brown was white.
I
Okay.
didn't know
And
John Brown.
I wanted to troll you when you told me that, but I also am mindful. I'm like, we are willfully under and miseducated in this country, and it's on purpose. They don't want you to have John Brown as an avatar for liberation. They don't want you to know that people like John Brown and some of the Quakers, not all of them, some of the Quakers and some other folk, and even modern, during the civil rights movement, a Viola LaRosa or a Goodman and a Schwerner, we don't want to know them. We want to, lean into something else. But the colors, you said you had to use so many colors to bring because the
Yeah,
fabrication on that was like, I was like, oh, it was more because my big edict was the eyes, they always have to be looking at you. Like, I want when people look at this shirt, when the shirt is looking back at you and
yes,
it's
it is.
peering into your soul, and I challenged you. I was like, Rick, I don't care what else you do, the eyes have to be piercing.
We really, yeah, it was more. You wanted to pierce it. You said you wanted to basically look in the mirror and see a reflection of these abolitionists if they were alive and present. And what we did is we used about 12 to 14 colors to bring the flesh tones, the emotions, the wrinkles, where you can actually really physically see the features the keen features of each abolitionist. We thought it was really, really powerful. We wanted to make sure that we wanted this drop to be about the garment, which we hang our hats on the garments. The garments are always special. It's really about the garment and you being able to get a chance to go back in time and see what these people actually looked like and felt. And that's something we're really extremely proud of. And I'm going to go back to the John Brown, we were talking about it. And again, I consider myself to be highly educated. I had no clue. As a matter of fact, my team and I were saying, "Man, is this guy mixed?" I mean, we had no.
Is he light skinned in it? Is he just, I mean, I
I'm
think
not
he
trying to
might
be
have
funny.
Indian in his family.
I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be funny, but then we had to go back and research and really, really dig into these things, and that's why we're attracted to the global majority. It's we're always learning something. And that's something that's wonderful. You never should get to an age where you stop learning. And to really not to know this man and to know that he thought that slavery was a sin. This is a white man that went against the grain at a time where he was one of one and fought for what he thought was not moral. And he's one of the forefathers of the change that was coming. And I didn't know that. And now I'm teaching my child because she
Look,
has
look,
absolutely no idea.
look. I'm so proud, and I had a conversation with Dr. Carr today, and I said, there are things that we just know because we assume everybody knows, but everyone doesn't know. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, most people don't know. And so I'm loving all of the folk who are out there using their platforms to give us little bits and pieces of history. I call them breadcrumbs, but if we can also translate that and transfer that to what we wear every day as they're, trying to put dress codes in airports, okay. I could throw a jacket on top of my Harriet Tubman, as I did. I could throw a jacket on top of my John Brown and deliver a message without ever opening my mouth. And I think that, the subtlety of penetrating people's souls with a message or an image is the power. It's so powerful. You ain't got to beat somebody over the head with it. You just got to wear it and then have them lean in and then have the opportunity to educate them.
And
I
that's
love
the
that.
key. Even though what I love about you make things sound so simple, the way you talk and the way you break down messaging on a daily basis. But I really want to stress this isn't simple. To be able to dive deep and figure out people that you want to um, let people learn about. It's a huge responsibility. Of bringing education back and teaching us, and then let's try to make sure this translates into apparel. And we have our rules. Like it's not, this is not cheap merch. This is something that you're going to want to wear for a very, very long time. And what I
This is
love
3 years.
about it,
Well, look, this is 3 years old, and it's still. I put it
and
on
it's still
today.
fly,
I
right?
was like, yes, okay. And
Yeah,
we've
and it's
we,
still
we've changed up some hoodies and played with different fabrications, but the quality hasn't changed. And because
August.
earlier I had on the hoodie from the zip up, the really heavy set one,
Yeah,
and it's cold today, and I was out in them streets, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
I'm good. I got on a hat in this sweatshirt, and I'm good. I'm good.
and
Yeah.
that's
So
one of the
thank you
things
for that.
that's one of the things we thought was always important. And I want to go back to the logo. I mean, just the name, the global majority. It's just something that today it's just so important. Again, the your idea to think of that is so genius. It's not limiting. What I love about this brand, it's not limiting at all. Karen is talking to everybody, and then she's talking to specific people who need to listen. And again, these are things on why we're here 3 years. It's because every drop, every conversation, every design battle uh, makes us better. I walk away every day going, wow, this collection, this I don't want to be emotional about, but this relationship that you and I have developed is such food for my soul. It's given me a whole different look on life and joy, and to be proud of who I am and to be able to give that same energy to my children and to teach them how wonderful it is to be Black. And I want to thank you for that. And that's why we want to take over Black on. That's why the whole concept of Black on Black Friday, right? It's like
Sorry.
let's be let's be super proud of who we are, unapologetically proud of
Yes.
what we're doing.
Yes.
I mean, that's
All
what
of
it is.
that.
Black on Black
I
Friday
mean,
is
and
us saying we're unapologetically proud of
we've
what
been doing that for, on the last Thursday of the month for the last 5 years, we've had buyfromablackwoman.org's Nikki Porche on, because we were committed before all of this. We're gonna save our dollars, because once I saw the first Urban League report that said that black people at that time, I think when I first started 11 years ago, it was $1.2 trillion a year, and I was like, that can't be true. I can't. And then it is absolutely true. So then
True.
why don't we have, and maybe the myth of the $6 or 6 hour circulation of our capital, and then it's out. But it also talks to a willful design of commercialism and capitalism and marketing, where we spend trillions now. It's now up to 2.1 trillion. But when marketers put their budgets together, we get the minority budget, but we got majority dollars. Like, I'm like, so I keep asking this question of people as I run into them, what does it look like to build industry? What does it look like? I just had a conversation today. I'm like, Amazon started with this vision that they were going to tackle publishing, undercut, lose $1 on every book, but cripple every bookseller, and then dominate the marketplace. And then they came back with the servers, and then they came back with the warehousing and the distribution. But they understood what the vision was, whereas a lot of us are building on top of other people's things. And I had to halt myself, and I was talking to you about this as well. I was about to go into a venture, and I was like, why are we once again giving this genius to somebody else's platform when they need us? I think about Twitter every day. There's no Twitter without Black Twitter. And Twitter right now is the wasteland, because many of us have left and we aren't engaging every day. But the thing that made Twitter pop was our commentary. That and Arab Spring first, the ability to use that platform to show people across the globe all kinds of uprising, most recently Nepal. But it wasn't that Jack had a brilliant idea and he knew how to make it work. We made it work. We made Facebook work. We figured out how to, take an app that was designed to denigrate girls on college campuses, because that was the origin of Facebook, to make fun of faces because they couldn't get dates. But we turned it into a way to connect to our friends and family and former high school, whatever. We did that. We, the people, did that. So if we keep bringing our goodness to something and making it $1 trillion or multi-billion-dollar company, when are we going to build our own? And I know there's fan base, and I know there's spill, and I know there's all these other things. But why can't we do more, especially in this space that we're in right now, where we were branded, and I'm talking about particularly people whose ancestry can be traced to plantations, branded. We were branded and on auction blocks on Wall Street, and now these same companies are basically not, and my hold up, Ms. Tess, is if there's not a school or some sort of something built in our community off of the backs of, let's say Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all of these people, are they building in our community? And if the answer is no, why are we building theirs? Why are we building somebody else's empire? You don't need to wear those labels. You don't need a Birkin bag. Like, why? Who's Birkin? Who's Mr. Birkin? I don't even know. The red bottoms, do you know? I don't know, Christian. He might be a nice person. Do you need that? And what value is it? And if we continue to not value the source code, we won't have, we're going to be right back here like, I can't believe we don't have the things that we need when we have everything we need, because we spend $2 trillion. And if you don't believe me, ask Target. Ask Target, how does it feel?
Yeah, Target realizing that 100% how it feels when that black dollar who they want to talk to is gone. Yeah, Target's empty, shelves empty. It's not a joke, and I'm proud that we're coming together and shut down businesses who don't want to represent it and show us love and respect. So I definitely agree with that. And something I want to definitely touch upon. There are a lot of people out there that are thinking about starting their own business. What Karen does on radio and her ventures is definitely a model. I mean, again, the word like unapologetically, like when she launched the Global Majority, she had a very specific idea, and she stays true to that idea. And that's some of the business principles of starting a business that you need to bring into your fold. Karen has a laser type focus, and she knows what she wants, and she's not going to accept anything that's not on the level that she demands. And that's some of the qualities that are needed for success. And those are the qualities and traits that she brought to us that we had to exude and bring back and make this vision a reality. And her focus on not wavering for what she believes in is why I feel the global majority is exploding as it is today. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I mean, but but
having a
that
vision. So I'm sorry, go
to
ahead.
me, no, I was just gonna say, we are always chasing what they want
Mm,
instead of giving people what they need.
mm,
You know, we're,
talk about
oh, this is what's hot right now. And if we're always chasing what's hot, then we're never creating what people need 10, 20, 50 years from now. I'm
it.
always thinking, like, what will they need? And if we're going to all have to wear clothes, which we do, food, clothing, and shelter are the three staples of life, then why not wear your intention? Why
Mm, mm,
not build labels? Why not wear labels that are actually feeding your community? Why not invest your hard earned dollars into companies that are actually in your community, working for your community, doing things in your community? Why are we helping others build off of us, off of our dollars, and then also be disrespectful
mm,
at the same time? No,
mm.
I'm not paying you to be disrespectful. We're going to lift the bar. But I also think, to your point, and I thank you, but because I am laser focused, I'm also flexible. I'm pretty clear, but it's also because I've lived a long time and made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
also very clear that collaboration is important. So I'm not just, I'll throw an idea and you throw it back. It's because we throw back and forth that I think the magic happens. It's not just my way or the highway.
I totally agree with that. And what I meant by that is not the collaboration part, because it's the collaboration part where we can't. There's no credit. There's no ego with Karen and I. It's magic every time we get to work on design that she has in her head. And I want to be crystal clear. Karen Hunter is the designer. You know, we are basically just implementing her vision. But let's be clear, Karen Hunter is a designer, and I'm extremely proud of her. But what I meant by laser focused, and especially when I talk about business principles, is like you have a vision that you don't want to do anything less. If Karen's like, if I'm going to spend
That's
my
true.
time, my money, I want to make sure I do something that I feel is important, and I don't want to waver on that. I don't want to waver on quality. I don't want to waver on watering down a message. I don't want to go chase a fad. I want to do something that, like you just said earlier, 20, 30, 40 years from now, when you wear what I'm doing, it's still fly. It's still relevant. And that's what I meant by laser focus. And that's what I want the audience to grab is when you want to do your business. If you want to do, even when it comes to your family, running your household, that focus gives you the structure and foundation to be successful. The
Mm-hmm.
collaboration part, you being flexible, is that secret sauce of being successful, right? Because we all know we can't do it by ourselves. So even though you have a vision, and what's funny, like we go at it, but us going at it is where the magic always comes from, right? I mean, I'm telling you guys,
Yeah,
it isn't like it's
yo,
not
we
some.
be in tears, right? Rick and I be in tears of bloody, but it's that's the strength too because both of us are very strong people
Yeah.
who also don't have a big ego as it relates to business. So we banging on each other is because we want to get to the best possible
Yes.
outcome, and that should be every relationship. Like I want you to be the best. I want me to be the best. You're helping me be the best, vice
Yes.
versa. Let's see how far we can go. I'm excited.
Even with this
So
drop,
thank you.
remember our first round, you're like,
Yeah.
no, where's the passion in the eyes? I'm like, man,
Yeah.
these pitches 1800, what do you
I
no.
don't care.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
He was
But
like,
see, I don't know what you have to do to get there. I just know what it needs to look like. You have
right,
to figure that out. But
right.
and even though you were telling me it's a difficult process, but I know, is it possible? That's
Mm.
my question. Is it possible? And you were like, okay, we just got to figure it out. And you did. You
And that's the
did.
challenge. That's the collaboration. That's the push. And if we didn't have that, where would we be? And I'm telling you, this push, this back and forth, this is one, I'm telling everybody out there, I'm not saying it because I want you, we're not trying, we never want to pitch people to go buy something. That's not my goal. What I'm saying to you that when you look at this printed special, you're going to be able to see the emotion, you're going to be able to see the character. And remember, there is no image like it. We went back and we re engineered it. and it's one of some of my best work, and I'm really proud of it. And thank you, Karen, for pushing.
High five to you, Rick.
Thank you, Karen, for pushing
Rick
it.
Martin, Rick. On that note, there is a time limit. So when it's gone, it's gone. I think people will recognize it now. Like when the drop is over, it's over.
It's a
So
wrap.
and it's not coming back. But let me go to the phones. Let me welcome Douglas in from New York. He's holding on. I'm sorry. I've just looked at the call sheet. I didn't know there was some callers. I'm sorry, Smith. Douglas in New York, you had a question. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. Hello.
Sister Hunter,
Hey.
hello. Rick
Hello.
Martin, hello.
Hey,
Listen,
hey.
I know you said, so I'm a Nubian. I've been dropping this in the chat for a minute, but the freedom isn't free. I need more pieces. I shorted myself, and I only got two hoodies and two shirts. But I need more because when I'm traveling, people look at them, and it's a conversation piece, and if you just start get to talking. But I know you said this gone, but there's any way you can release? I don't know.
So I said to Rick, I think something interesting we're going to do next year is put out like a poll.
Yep.
You know, which should we come back with? And we may just have like one drop with the bet, you know, with all of the things that, because now there's different colorways, different fabrications, different, you know, the zip ups versus the, you know, we're doing a lot of different things. Yes.
I really want to thank the brother for his comments,
Yeah.
and Karen and I appreciate that, because that again is a testament to a great business plan for everyone who's listening out there. You know, Karen wanted this to be something that was wearable art, that was provocative and made people talk. And I'm proud. Thank you for the phone call. And that, you know, what's funny, when Karen and I talk, I travel a lot, and I see people with it. And I call up Karen, like, man, I'm seeing all type of people. But girl, it's not just the brothers and the sisters, because brothers and sisters, they definitely support. But I'm seeing some non-brothers and sisters supporting too, and it's such a wonderful thing. You know what I'm saying? To see people.
Yeah.
But I feel like we have our own fraternity or sorority. We see each other
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
airport.
No, it is like
I mean,
a secret society. We don't need a handshake. But also that last drop already here has
Woo.
so many resonant messages for people. There were Africans already here. They were definitely what is indigenous. I'm now learning that many of us are actually, you know, they suppress the amount of indigenous quote unquote blood that we have, so that we don't go get the reparations that way. There's a lot of shenanigans going on, but we're already here. People were already here before somebody came here and stuck a flag and put some borders. And that was really that to me, that message captures everybody. So I'm very proud of
That's
that.
the topic of my Thanksgiving table, because I was rocking it. And
Yeah.
then,
Oh,
and
okay.
brought up, people talking like, "Well, what does that mean? What do you mean? What does it mean?" And then we looked at the map, and it was like, "Wow, I didn't know." Again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know. You know, to see the map of all these tribes across the entire country, every freaking state had a tribe. Remember, there was no states, right? It was just
Correct. Just
I think
people.
even
Just
when I
human
say that,
beings.
I have to
Yeah.
change how I'm talking, right?
Yeah.
Think about that. 50 states, there were no states before. That was just their land, their people. Man, that was so provocative. And it was
Yeah.
a hell of a topic.
But let me also thank Doug for being a Nubian. Be safe out there driving. We got you eventually. And I thank you. You know, and it's funny how, because we're not like, oh, go get this, go buy this, go. It's not going to be here. That now 3 years in, people are like, oh, shoot. They mean that when it's gone, it's gone. It's like, but I feel like we have to be the one place that we're going to stand on truth. Like if we say a thing, it ain't going to be like, oh, we're going to come back next week and get, you know, we did that with already here, but that was for a specific time because something else happened. But let me go to Larry in Maryland, and then we got to go to a break. Larry, thank you for holding. Welcome.
Hey, real quick, Karen, I love and appreciate you. I'm a Nubian, been tracking with you for 10 years. But when I saw my email this morning about Paul Jennings, with the Paul Jennings one, I'm the president of the Mount Pelion Descendants Committee, which is James Madison's forced labor plantation where my fourth great grandfather was enslaved. Alongside my fourth great grandfather, Benjamin McDaniel, would have been 10 years older than Paul Jennings.
Wow.
And have learned a lot from that history. And that family chooses not to be a part of the Descendants Committee, which is challenging in itself. But I'm absolutely going. I've already put in my orders.
Look
for
at
T-shirt,
that. You know, when
so
Dr. Carr talked about that fire and and the reason why we got that picture on the dollar bill, I sat there, and for me, Paul Jennings is a bridge. Like I treat him the way we treat Phyllis Wheatley, from the standpoint that there was some indoctrination at the same time.
Yes.
His story is really important and probably, more powerful because he then became an abolitionist, whereas John Brown was like, there was no question. He's a quote unquote white man who was like, we gonna go to war.
Yeah, he was powerful.
And then you got Harriet Tubman, who was a whole ass spy who kept going back and forth and, just supernaturally freeing herself and hundreds of people. And then you got Paul Jennings, and I think, again, because he wasn't somebody that I was introduced to, I wanted us to have conversations. But God bless what you do, Larry. What you do is so important.
Yes.
I'm in class with Carr every Saturday morning. I'm like Karen Hunter is on my radio every day. Awesome. I was listening to you one day and I was sitting in the car and I was waiting to get in, and then your call screener said, well, you can just download the app, which I did, and so now I don't have to sit in the car and listen to you. But I also wanted to tell you that James Howard French's brother James was the first descendant of the enslaved community to serve as the chair of the board at James Madison's Montpelier, and he was president of the MDC when we started this. And I introduced Howard. I told Howard, I was like, dude, you need to reach out to Dr. Carr. You need to get on Karen Hunter. And then I listened to y'all, and I listened to your app with him on it, and it's like, this is what it's all about. So thank you for what you do. The community and the roots of the community is just incredible. So thank you, my sister. And I got on my she's got the whole world T-shirt on.
Oh, from back in the day. Rick, I might have to hit Rick to that. I might wear so when I found out that Africa, that the cartographers, made Africa like small when it's really 5 times larger and it's the center of the world. Wow. So I did one of my, before you, she's got the whole world. I had Africa with China, Russia, United States, all of the states that can fit in, Europe, into the landmass that we know as Africa. Wow. And it's just about everything. Like Greenland is not that big. Like, it's wild to me how we've allowed, but it also tells you how willful this system that we're under. They know if we can just keep people ignorant, if we can just keep them misinformed, if we can keep them thinking small, we get to stay on top. And I think everybody should be on top. I think everybody should eat. Everybody should have a roof over their heads. Everybody should be able to live the kind of life that they want to, and there's enough to go around.
I want to ask a caller one question.
God bless you.
I want to ask you one question.
Hold on, Larry.
Larry, before you go, from your perspective, this drop right here, how important is it to you?
It is crucial. I sat up 2 days ago with my 12-year-old granddaughter, going through our ancestry, taking her back to show her the connections between her and Benjamin McDaniel, who, again, was enslaved by James Madison, and there's all kinds of documentation about his life there. But the key, the nuggets of history with Harriet Tubman. I live in Maryland. Harriet Tubman's well known around here, but people don't really understand all that she went through. John Brown. I've been past West Virginia, Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, because, again, I live in central Maryland. That history is so rich and so important. So I'm just grateful to Karen for your vision and for how you make it about humanity and not about black and white. This is not race stuff. This is about our common humanity. Right. I get to serve, and a final thing, and I'll go. I serve with Governor Moore as the executive director for an office that oversees all of the state's ethnic and cultural commissions. And what I share with them is what I get from In Class with Carr and from listening to everybody on the channel, and just share about our common humanity. And one day I had an opportunity at a Asian Pacific thing for their Asian Pacific Heritage Month. And I told the chair at the time 2 years ago, an Indian brother, he was like, yeah, we're minorities. And I said, no, dude, we're not minority. We are the global majority. And
That's
then
it.
he got up to the mic and said that, and then just started sharing. So it's like an opportunity to share with people that we're human first, but those of us with melanin are the global majority, and we need to start acting like it. So thank you. That's enough for me.
No, it's not, because Alexa, get his number, because we're about to go on tour next year. Okay, 2026, we are going to be out in the streets. Maryland's going to be a stop. My vision for that is we're going to come into a town. Saturday morning, we're going to do a live in-class with car out in the streets at a museum or someplace in that area. And then in the afternoon, we're going to have a listening exchange with the constituents, with the people. What do you need? As I say every day, everybody lives somewhere. What do you need? Well, you get to talk to the people who can deliver. So that's the vision for I'm putting it together now. Hopefully it'll come out the way I imagine, but I need people to help. So hopefully the team will make it all happen. But Rick, thank you so much for honoring what's in my head and my spirit. You honored it greatly. I'm so proud of the abolitionists. I'm so proud. And Nubians, you know you got a discount. You already know. You already know the discount. You already know you got a discount. You know what it is. All right. All right. Rick, I love you.
I love you too, man. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you. When we come back, Foolishness Friday, Roderick Morrow will be with us. We got a great show, so stay tuned.